So, I have been trying a whole bunch of different helmets over the last little while and different comms over the last little while. With the new ride, the actual ride that I'm going to be doing this year, and with the people that I ride with, one of the things that, really becomes, I guess, a concern when you are making a purchase, let's say, of an intercom, because really that's what this video is about, is intercoms. And I had this discussion with a guy on the weekend. Intercoms don't talk with each other from different brands. Now, most intercoms have like a universal mode, but that universal mode is really good for connecting your brand to a different brand, but that's it. You can't really go outside of that. Once that connection kind of happens, so it's great for like you and a buddy going out riding, but you still don't get all the benefits and bonuses that you would get if the two of the same brand connected. The other thing that you don't get, especially nowadays, which is important for those of us that do a lot of group riding, is even with Bluetooth, you do have that ability a lot of times to get up to 4, I believe. Most of them are 4 riders. But the majority of them now, of intercoms, actually have mesh. So for instance, I have used some other mesh ones. It's great, but the issue is I don't ride with anybody that also rides with that brand, so I can't use it. They all use a different brand, so I can't even connect to them, because when they're on mesh and I'm on mesh, my mesh doesn't work with theirs. And if I switch to Bluetooth, they don't want to leave mesh, and my Bluetooth I can't connect because they're on mesh. So I'm kind of just out on my own, which isn't always bad. It's not always a bad thing. But on a long ride, when you are going for like a full day or a multi-day trip or however long it is, sometimes you want that ability to talk to the group, be able to say, hey, stop for gas. Hey, I need to go to the bathroom. Hey, we should check this place out. Whatever it is, doesn't really matter. Or maybe you're just bored and you just want someone to talk to. When I was talking with all of the guys that I ride with, they all use Senas. They all have, actually, as far as what they ride in, they all use the Shoei helmets with the integrated Senas. So the integrated, I think it's an integrated like a 50 series basically inside there, but they all have mesh, which is great. So I was like, well, that's what I want. So I ended up reaching out to Sena, and Sena was like, hey, let's do a partnership. And I was like, okay, so no money, just so you guys know, no money is being sent my way, but they were nice enough to send me some gear for me to try. Over the next week or two with videos, you guys are going to see a fair bit of Sena stuff, because I'm going to try to record whenever I'm setting it up to do whatever it is. Today, though, the first product that they sent, which is the one that I was most eager to try, was their helmet. And that's this right here. This is the Sena Impulse. So they have a couple different helmets. I think last year, the year before, it was branded differently. This year, of course, it's the Impulse, but they also have another one. The Impulse is their modular base, which is what I wanted, because I wanted a modular for our trip so that I could pop it up if I was off the bike and trying to talk to someone. Maybe I was at a light, or maybe we were just walking around. I didn't want to take the helmet off. Or just if you're wherever you are and you want to have a sip of water, or you want to have a quick snack, you don't have to take your helmet off, right? You can just pop it on and then pop the thing down when you're good and ready. And this one basically has the intercom built into it. So it's basically a 50S, I believe, built into it. It also uses the Harman Kardon, both speakers inside the helmet, as well as a built-in Harman Kardon microphone. So those two features are super cool. And you may be able to see this. I don't know if you can. Maybe if I move this around. Wi-Fi enabled for automatic firmware updates. That's kind of cool. And they call it a smart helmet, in the fact that it actually has a light in the back that I think you can program, and you can program it either to be off or to just flash or to be constantly on. Now, it's not a light that interacts with like an accelerometer or your braking system or anything like that, so it doesn't turn on when you're slowing down or braking, but more visibility is always good. And in comparison to all my friends' helmet/comm setups, even though this is not what you'd consider like a budget helmet by any means, if you're looking at a helmet and a comm system anyways, this really seems to be a good option for that because it's just kind of all in one, and you know it's going to work because the whole thing is Sena. What does it say on the back here? Bluetooth 5, mesh intercom, has a 2 kilometer or 1.2 miles for intercom. Now, they do say if you have 6 riders with the mesh, you can extend up to between 6 and 8 kilometers, I believe it is. Multi-way intercom, music sharing, advanced noise control, audio multitasking. That's going to be with like your Siri or Google or whatever it is. Voice commands, FM radio, and a smartphone app. So all kinds of super cool. Now again, one of the biggest things for me was sizing. There was nobody here in town that had Sena helmets in stock. It was always a special order, and it was something that I kind of had to just base it on the Sena measurements. So that's my hope, is that the Sena measurements are correct. So this is a 2XL, and I always take a 2XL, but I have had some 2XLs that are a little on the snug side, for sure. A few things just so you can see here. This is going to be your like boom mic ends right there. You are going to get a manual, which is nice, and you are going to get I'm not sure what this is. I think this is, I don't know, it looks USB-C-esque on one side, and this is also a USB-A to USB-C cable, but I think they call this it's a wireless USB-C cable. So it has wireless in it, which is kind of neat, so that it can actually, I believe, I'm kind of just saying off the top of my head here, I believe actually do firmware upgrades without actually having to be connected to a computer. Once it knows all that stuff that you kind of have to get it configured the first time, probably in with the app. So that's that little bag. All right, the other thing that you get before we bring up the helmet is you do get a pin lock. So it is a pin lock setup, which is really nice. Fog log. It's a fog log, pin lock, fog resistant lens. So what's nice about this, and this is a clear, but you can go out and buy other pin lock visors, and helmets that have pin lock have these little pins on them. I can't remember if it's on the outside or on the inside, but what happens is you put this visor on them. So what happens is your visor's there, and then there's this pin lock visor that is over top of it, and you end up getting this really, really small area of air inside there, which moisture doesn't get into, and it helps just keep your visor from fogging, which pin locks are great. So helmets that have them, you'll love. And visors that don't, you might be a little sad. I'm just saying. Here it is. Here is the helmet. So this is it, Sena. This is the Impulse. And I'll be honest with you, the box came. The box was fairly large. It had the helmet in it. It had the other comm in it, which we'll talk about in a future video. Had some other stuff in it. And I was like, my goodness, this box feels really, really light. I'm not going to say this is the lightest helmet in the world, because it does have all the comm stuff built into it. So because of that, it does add a fair bit of weight. I am going to say I probably have some helmets that may be a bit lighter. May not be lighter once you add a comm to them. There's my hair. You're loving it. It's all... It is what it is. And you can get this in one of two colors. So you can either get it in a black or you can get it in a white. Now, I decided to go white. And the reason I decided to go white was two reasons. Number one is, based on my previous experience in the motorcycle course world, white helmets are just more visible. So if you are someone that is concerned with safety, having a white helmet is something that other drivers will just notice. They'll just notice it more, and there's a way better chance of you being seen. That, to me, is a win. Number two, I a lot of times wear a half helmet when it gets hot. Having a white helmet is also going to help with heat, right? Having a black helmet also just absorbs heat, so you get hotter, which I don't want, because I want to be able to wear this helmet, you know, as often and as much as possible. So I think the white is a good choice. Is a good choice. That's nice, and it doesn't look too big. Sena Impulse. I'll bring it back here so it focuses maybe a bit more better. There we go. Thumbnail. Sena Impulse with pin lock, and yeah, you guys may be able to see it here. There's the pin lock right there. So basically, what happens is on this, you're going to slide it into the pin lock, and then you're going to slide it on the pin lock on this side, and it sits on the top of the actual visor. Now, the other thing I like, and I wasn't sure, I have some helmets now that have taken this piece. You guys see it here. This is on the left-hand side, and this is designed so that you can lift the visor up and down. A lot of them have moved it to the center. And I was like, oh, I like that. I like that idea. But because I have an action cam that I use almost all the time that's right here, getting access to that is so difficult. It really is. There's a lot of times I put the visor down and I'm like, I can't get in there. I just, having it over here, honestly, it's your left hand, which is the hand that doesn't need to be on the throttle. That's just better. If you look at the top, you are gonna have a nice, easy vent. And it's nice and clicky, which I really like. And I also like that it's kind of, I don't know, it's just enough gray on there to kind of give it a stormtrooper-y look. You also get a nice little vent on the front. Yes, again, nice clicks. You can tell that, you know, it's not a cheap, inexpensive helmet. There's no necessarily clicks for exhaust on the back. They're just open, so you're not going to close these. These are just open. There's your exhaust vents on the back, so air should have no problems coming in. And it's kind of got that little bit of that aerodynamic fin on the back, which is also nice. Now, the big thing for me is does it fit? So I'm gonna open it, because that's my hope. My hope is that it goes on my head okay, because if not, then I don't know what to tell you. It's got to fit. Before I do it, see the little microphone right there? There's a microphone, so we are going to put one of those boom pads on it. You can also see on the side here, nothing on that side, it doesn't look like, but there's all your controls on this side, probably up, down, be able to go through your menu. There'll be a button for mesh, and of course the advertisement of Harman Kardon. All right, are we ready? Double XL. It looks nice, just so you guys can see on the inside. That's nice padding, right? It's nice padding. This is gonna fit. It's gotta fit. Oh, that is lovely padding. And what I would think is that it's gonna squish. It's gonna compress the actual, like the cheek pads and stuff like that. Will compress over time, but that's really nice on the top. It feels not just like a on the top. It feels like there's separate pad channels, if that makes sense. And then let's see, chin down. It has a chin curtain. You guys may be able to see it. There is a chin curtain there, which is also good. Okay, that's locked in. And then this is just a pull down. Click. Got a nice click up there. Okay. So I'm gonna say I definitely wouldn't want it to be smaller, I don't think, for sure. But I think right now, like it's not a big looking helmet by any means. I think it looks good. Hopefully you guys can see me. And again, all this stuff is easy to access, right? It's all just right there. So up and down. Same thing with the top one. Easy to access. Buttons. There's, again, nothing on this side. All the buttons back here. And that's going to take a little bit of time to figure out what all these buttons do, but we will do that in an upcoming video. What I have to do now, is there an inside visor or anything like that? It's hard to tell. Can't tell if there is or not. Not that I ever use those, but there may be. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I don't think there is. What we will do in the next video is I'm going to take some time right now and take this off. I'm going to take some time right now and I'm going to read the manual, figure out how to turn this on, do some of the basic like connecting, and we'll talk about that in the next video. If you guys have any questions about this helmet, let me know. I'll see if I can include the answer, if I can find out in any of the upcoming videos. And that's it. Links down below to this. This is the Sena Impulse, which includes their comm with mesh, which is awesome. And we'll see you guys next video. All right, guys. I'm out. Later.